Hi everyone, James here. In this case study interview with my client, Daniel Morales here, we're going to be talking about his practice. He's a body worker. He's been getting some killer results in the program. I believe that he's almost tripled his practice. He's just hit six figures as well. And he was in a place where he wasn't doing too well in practice. He was working a lot, working really hard, trying to hustle and grind and grow his practice, and it just wasn't really happening. And then he stumbled across me. We started chatting. He joined the program, and he's got some exceptional results. So, Daniel, tell us a little bit about yourself, your practice, what you do, and all that kind of thing.
Well, thank you for having me on here. Like James says, I'm a body worker. I've been doing massage therapy for 10 years now. The first about 8.5 years of my practice, I spent building it over in the Bay Area in California. So I had an established clientele. I was doing well. I had all my regulars and everything. And then my wife and I last year decided to buy another business about 5.5 hours away. So when we moved, I pretty much had to leave my whole practice and start completely from scratch. And if you guys know, the scariest part of building your practice is just creating momentum. So I'm sitting here trying to think, what am I going to do? Because I have to start this practice all over again. I know I'm good, but um, nobody else does. Nobody knows me. No one. I can't get any referrals. I don't know anybody. So what am I going to do? And it was a pretty funny story because almost around that time, I get this random email from James in my email saying, "Hey, are you a health practitioner that wants to make six figures?" And I'm like, "Of course I am." So I'm sitting here with this brand new practice trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And then James reaches out to me. And at that point, it was kind of a game changer. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I went from having a full established practice to starting brand new all over again with no referrals, no source of networking, nothing. So
Yeah.
I had nothing. I had nothing to start with.
Yeah. So really the big problem that you're having was that because you had to start fresh, you're starting from the bottom, but your headspace is in the I'm good, I can solve problems, I can help people, but how do I actually get them to know that I exist and know that I can actually help them? And that's something that a lot of people that I talk to struggle with, whether it's you're starting from scratch or whether you have a six-figure practice and it's like I've been there for 20 years, it's like how do I get more people through the door? It's how do we solve that problem of people knowing that we exist, right? So
Exactly.
when you were going through that, how did that make you feel? Because it would have been a bit stressful, right? It would have been overwhelming, confused. Like what were you going through at
Oh
that
man.
time?
I mean, I was scared. I was anxious. I was stressed out. I have a wife and two kids and one more on the way. So the process of establishing a business all over again with having to create enough income to provide for my family and some.
Yeah,
You only leave yourself enough um, of a buffer to be able to get through before things start to get a little tight. And we were
yeah,
kind of at the point where it was like it's sink or swim. It needs to happen.
yeah,
And I needed it to happen in hyper speed, and I knew that the only way to do it was to be able to reach as many people as possible in a short amount of
yeah,
time. And I knew that me going and doing, you know, health screening somewhere else, or going and doing talks, or just going out and handing my cards at networking functions was not going to bring in the kind of numbers that I needed to really get my practice
yeah,
going. So,
yeah.
like I said, your email was like perfect timing. And yeah,
And
no, I'm
what because when you were looking at joining, we had a few chats because you're a bit nervous about jumping on board. What was making you nervous about or skeptical of joining?
yeah, it took about like 3 weeks to
Yeah,
to start working together. I mean, we were on the phone at least once a week, just kind of figuring out what's going on. And I definitely appreciate your persistence, and the constant support is genuine, and that's what I loved about it, is
yeah,
that you were genuine on every phone call. You no man left behind. Like that was kind of, it felt
yeah,
like you're like, I'm not gonna leave you go, not gonna leave you out there by yourself.
yeah,
But I've worked with other people in the past. I've spent thousands of dollars on Facebook marketing before, and they're awesome at what they do. But it was more of a broad kind of spectrum. So I
yeah,
was looking at that, and I'm like, man, I've already shelled out thousands of dollars doing Facebook marketing with very little results. Uh, uh, 2 months before you reached out to me, I was working with somebody who was running Facebook ads for me,
Yeah.
and their style and their approach was just completely off. So I
Yeah.
knew that I had to take it into my own hands. And
Yeah.
honestly, I was just, after praying on it a little bit, and just looking at your background and the constant support, you were definitely a guy that I wanted to work with. So I just decided to
Yeah.
jump in, and best business decision that
Mm.
I could have made, hands down.
And I love it because I'm on the other side of the fence, right? Like I know the results that are possible. I do this every day. I know what's going to happen. But when you are making that decision, you're thinking about it, you're scared because you're like, what if this, what if that, what if this? But the nature of what I do and the nature of how I do it is I'm there to make sure that you're being supported and implementing. And all you needed to do was follow the instructions, right? And you
Yeah,
did it. And that's why you got a result. And so it's really cool to see someone just like you who was maybe skeptical is the wrong word, but just nervous of making decisions. Like it's so common. Everyone I talk to is just freaked out, and it's you have to make that jump, but you got to feel confident. And the fact that you did and then took the leap, which is why I kept messaging you because I knew what kind of results we can get, and I'm glad that you did and then implemented because now it's kind of like a, it's not like a told you so moment, but in my head it's like it's told you so to me. It's like I knew that I could help him get those results, and that's why I do it. So it's the reason I get up in the morning is this kind of thing. So I love it. And
exactly.
so tell us a bit about some of the results that you've been getting when you first started. What was your revenue at? What's it at now? How many new clients are you getting? Those kind of things.
Sounds good. Yeah, well, I started my brand new practice in June of 2019. That's when I first opened the door of my new office.
Yeah.
And in that third quarter of the year, um, my net was just under $11,000. That
Yeah.
was before working with you. Okay.
Yeah.
And then going into that following quarter, from October to the end of December, and pretty much October 1st was right around when I first started running ads with you, right? So that's
Yeah.
pretty much when I got my first ad out. Um, in that quarter, actually no, because so it went from June to September,
Yeah.
which was 4 months. So it wasn't even a quarter. It was actually
Yeah.
it was a little more than that. So June to the end of September was 4 months, not three. So it
Yeah.
was $11,000 in 4 months, and then those next 3 months, from October to the end of December, did just under $22,000 in sales.
Yeah.
So I doubled. I mean, I more than doubled my practice
Yeah.
from that short period of time to that next 3 months. And just in the month of January alone, um, I reached just under $9,000 for the month.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm I'm ecstatic. I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's constantly growing. It
Yeah.
amazes me just when I open my email and I see how many different people I have to contact on a daily basis, who are searching for me. They're looking for me.
Yeah.
I'm not out there looking for them. And that's
Yeah.
that's kind of the exciting thing, is that I have a service that
Yeah.
I love to offer people, and now people are like genuinely looking for me, and it honestly wouldn't happen without your system and your
Yeah.
approach. So
Yeah. Well, we've basically tripled your practice, focusing solely on the attraction components. And so
mhm.
going forward, we're going to be working on retention and scaling and things too. But right now, just for those of you listening to this, this is just the attraction. This is some plug and play campaigns that he's put in to generate these numbers, and there is more that we're building on from that. So for me, there's no reason, like you've just hit six figures, which
Yeah,
was the goal, right? The dream. There's no reason why we can't double and triple that going forward. So with this, it's just about scalability. And right now you're building up, you're growing, and there's more once we start to overcome some of those other bottlenecks and scale up further, that we should be able to in 2020. We should be able to hit 20K a month is my goal for you. So to kind of give you an idea there, that's where we're heading to.
yeah.
So with the program, how have you found it so far, and what made the program so effective for you to implement and get results with?
I think the thing is that you're already in the healthcare industry. You've been doing it for so long that you've already gone through all of the trial and error. So you've kind
Mm,
of weaned out what didn't work and kept
mm,
all the things that did work. So the system's been fine tuned over a lot of years. So for me, when I came into it, my whole goal was to plug and play. Like, there's
mm,
no reason why I was going to reinvent the wheel. I was going to take
yeah,
exactly what you did. I was going to take your exact approach, your exact system, your exact email campaign, and I was going to run it as is and see how that did, and then make the fine tweaks here and there. And
Yeah.
so far, I haven't had to make any tweaks at all. Like, I've
Yeah.
taken your system and I've implemented it to the T.
Yeah.
I tailored it to my particular industry in massage therapy versus
Mm.
chiropractic.
Yeah.
But I mean, outside of that, I haven't done anything different. I haven't fine tuned it outside of that, and all I
Yeah.
do is keep scaling and scaling and scaling, and it's working, and it
Yeah.
continues to work. It's not one of those things where it works for a little bit and then eventually it dies out. I mean, this thing is it's a well-oiled machine that just keeps running and running and running. So
Yeah.
I think the fact that because you are in the industry,
Mm.
it really does benefit the people who are coming in who are also in the industry, because all they're doing is just following your lead.
Yeah.
It's a guaranteed system that's already put in place, meant to work. So
And that's and you really hit the nail on the head there. Like, there is no point in reinventing the wheel. And yes, I'm a chiropractor, but I also have naturopaths and I'm hiring an osteopath and a few other people into my multidisciplinary practice. But the thing with this is healthcare is healthcare. We have clients that have problems and they want to have outcomes. I have back pain. I don't want back pain. I'm stressed. I don't want to be stressed. And we all have services that are the vehicle that takes a person from where they are to where they want to be. And so I call it the wet fish technique. Whether I whack you with a fish or not, like, if that's my technique, I'm going to solve your problems. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. As long as I produce the result, you're going to be happy. And so then in how we do this with marketing a healthcare practice and growing and scaling it, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter what method you use or services you have or angles you take. Ultimately, if you can solve a problem for a person and produce an outcome that they want, then you can have a successful business. And so with the stuff, the plug and play campaigns that you've used so far, this is stuff that I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars of my own money into prior to ever creating a program and launching it with clients like yourself, right? Like, this is stuff that I use currently. I still do, and I've used it for years. And so with the program, you're getting the things that work, you're implementing them just like the other clients, and I'm guiding you on customizing to suit your flair and your offerings. But the foundations are the same because the foundations are in practice, in the healthcare practice, right? And that's why it's so replicatable because of that. So with that, why did you choose to work with me in this program instead of another program?
I mean, like I said, it was just the genuine person that you are. I could truly feel that you cared, and I knew that you were going to see it all the way through until I was successful, no matter how long you had to hold my hand through the process, and no matter how many days. I mean, how many evenings were we up, like, messaging back and forth, even when I was watching the videos. You're like, just go back to the video. I'd watch the video, and I still come back to you with questions, and you never said no. Like, you always were right there to answer my question right away.
Mm.
Send me a video clip or anything that needed to kind of help me in the process. So, I knew that you were a genuine person, and I know that anybody who has talked to you on the phone or has got with you through your funnels or anything can tell that you're a genuine person. And I'm here
Mm.
to say, he is a genuine person. He really wants you to
Appreciate it.
succeed, and he
Yeah.
really wants you to win. And honestly, I would have never. I personally couldn't imagine the results that I'm getting so far.
Mm.
And he's 20K right now. And honestly, like, before I would have said no shot, but now I'm like, yeah, we can do this. Let's make it
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
It's possible. So,
100%. And how's life and business different now after going through the program?
oh, it's amazing. It's so, before I was always chasing after people, always trying to make sure that my schedule was full, every week, kind of looking the week ahead, trying to figure
Yeah.
out, oh, what's next week going to look like? What's next week going to look like? And you can lose sleep over something like that.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, my my schedule is fairly consistent, because not only do I have my clients that are continuing to rebook with me, but I also have a whole flood of new people that want to come and see me. So
Mm.
I'd say the level of anxiety and the level of stress is way
Yeah.
down. Makes
Yeah.
my life so much better. And
Yeah.
then just knowing that I have that consistency, it's a good feeling. It's such a good feeling, and I'm excited to continue to press forward and
Yeah.
give other massage therapists or other people in the care industry an opportunity to work with me, because I know that all I have to do
Yeah.
is put a little bit more money into it, and I can help other people grow their business just as much,
Yeah.
my practice.
Yeah.
So
100%.
yeah.
And I like what you said there with anxiety and stress and things, because often we don't necessarily, want to admit it, but these things are stressful, and it affects us, it affects our family, it affects our kids. And the three principles of my program is money, meaning, and freedom. I want you to generate more money because that allows you to do the things you want to do, live the life